Welcome to Star Wars Action News, helping Star Wars collectors collect better.
The big purchase since our last show has been The Force Awakens. The Blu-ray finally came out, and as we talked about last show, there were multiple versions. I sat back and I pre-ordered all of them, but I chose the cheapest shipping, so while everybody was making me real jelly on Facebook by posting their pictures of what versions they got, and Nathan P. Butler posting his pictures of every version he got, I sat home and I'm like, I think mine are coming. But they came all by the end of the week. It was a few days lag.
Yeah, it was not a big deal. I did go to the stores that morning, too, to see what was going on. I was there at Target when they opened, and this Target store staff was nice enough to let me in early because it was really cold out for being April. It was like 26 degrees, and they felt bad for me, so they let me in early, which was nice. I was able to find the FN2187 pop there.
Nice.
Because they also have an exclusive t-shirt, which the Target still has.
What was the t-shirt of?
FN2187.
Ah, okay.
So it was the same pop with the bloody handprint. So they had those. There wasn't really... Well, there was no crowd buying the DVD at Blu-ray at Target. There was one guy who came in and looked at it, and then he put it back and walked out of the store. I don't know if it was because people are complaining the packaging, the shrink wrap was too tight and causing some warping issues, but it was pretty empty. I went to Walmart. Not many people there either, and no one was buying that there either.
Well, I bought all 4 versions of the Blu-ray. I bought none of the DVD. I am wondering if I need to, but
I don't think you do.
I think I can wait for it to be like $5 because when we were hitting Kmart's, they had stacks and stacks of the DVDs. The Blu-rays were all sold out, so I think I can wait for a deep discount come the holidays on that. But my firm belief was that the hardest one to get, based upon the other movies I buy, and I buy quite a few Blu-rays and DVDs, and I try to get the Steelbooks one possible.
Well, you have a Steelbook collection.
Yes. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World in Steelbook, Fast and Furious Steelbooks, Marvel movie Steelbooks.
Well, and you have a certain stately person over in the UK who started you down this path who also feeds your addiction.
He and I have a great symbiosis of helping each other out with collectibles. And yes, he's helped me out with the Elektra and the Ghost Rider Steelbooks. And
the Ginger Prince is both an enabler and a supplier. It's like buying from the drug dealer almost.
I owe him a life debt.
Yes, you do.
But when it comes to the Marvel movies, as we discussed the last show, they usually get 20 copies in, and there's one guy there who goes in and buys them all and then turns around and tries to flip them on eBay. I hope he did it this time, because I would laugh like Nelson from The Simpsons at him, because apparently they produced hundreds of thousands of these. Reports came in a week later that Best Buy still had literally hundreds of Steelbooks in their stores. They were not the hard one to find. And it's gorgeous Steelbook packaging, I have to say. It is just a nice set that it comes in with Kylo Ren on the front and Phasma on the back, and wonderfully reflective. The art on the inside is just gorgeous. It's the Millennium Falcon flying over Jakku with the TIE fighters behind it.
Yeah, they did a really good job on that. You pop out the discs and the inside has this whole beautiful scene in there. It's really nice. It's a nice contrast because the outside is so dark with Ren and Phasma, and it's gray, it's steel and everything. You open it up and it's that pretty blue and sand color.
You have to take all the discs out to see that nice background, but I also think the Steelbook is actually one of the best ways to store the disc. Now, Steelbooks themselves, you have to put them in protectors, like we were talking about with Pops. I buy a lot of Steelbook protectors, because they'll scratch, they'll ding, but inside, they have 3 separate places for your discs, and while 2 are on the right and 1 on the left, the 2 on the right are at different heights, so it's keeping your discs well protected so they don't scratch, which is very important with a Blu-ray, even more than it was with a DVD.
I also am put in a protector, so I don't ding or scratch.
But the one that was the single most popular, and I didn't see this coming, but I should have, Walmart with its BB-8 slipcase.
I kind of figured that one would be really popular because it's BB-8 and he's the star.
Well, the breakout character, if not the star. He's what, the Spicoli of Star Wars?
Well, you're really dating yourself, and I don't know that I've seen that movie enough to know that Spicoli is the breakout star or the person to see in that movie. I think I've seen it once.
Yeah, Spicoli's the one.
Okay.
Aloha, Mr. Hand. That's what BB-8 is saying. But it's actually a Velcro cover that you open up and you see the heroes of the Resistance, Han, Poe, Rey, and Finn. And it's that nice, hard plastic Velcro, so it actually kind of feels like a snap instead of like a... You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know there's a little Velcro like buttons that they have, and it's just like a little dot. And it's nice and doesn't warp the cover too much. My concern is repeated pulling and pushing is going to warp it, so I'd suggest maybe like looking at it every once in a while, not all the time.
Well, maybe we are a little anal retentive about protecting our collectibles, but you also said you feel like that BB-8 flap could be damaged in time.
Yeah, exactly. From the constant flipping, and I just feel that that is going to be something that somebody rips off or whatever, you know. There's only so many times, you know, your 8-year-old's gonna and it's done.
Now, in addition to the BB-8 slipcover, you also got a special Topps Galactic Connections piece. And I don't play that game. I don't collect it. It came with a little instruction sheet that I looked through. It's random what piece you get. It's inside the DVD itself, so you have to buy it and open it to find out. I got Boba Fett. If I'm going to get just one, it's Boba Fett. If I'm going to get, well, if just one, it'll probably be Greedo. I'll have to check eBay to see if they make him. But Boba Fett, not a bad one to get, but not a reason to purchase in my mind. It's just a Series 2 piece. I don't believe it's anything other than an enticement for me to go buy more.
I think that's what it's intended. I've noticed that these things are just sitting there and not moving at all at Walmart, so I'm guessing this is a way to entice you to buy more.
Despite having the glorious slipcover, though, Walmart is actually my least favorite packaging, because you take out of the slipcover and you've got your Blu-ray case. But I compared it to the regular release, it's slightly smaller.
The Blu-ray case?
Yeah.
Maybe to make the slipcover fit.
Yeah, it's like an 1/8 or a 1/16 of an inch shorter and narrower.
Interesting.
And then, you know what they did that I really actively dislike? I don't know if this is a secret, if everybody knows this, but just as background, Walmart often makes manufacturers give them cheaper items. They demand the price be lower so that they can charge less, and they have that buying volume.
There's actually a really great documentary on C-SPAN. Every once in a while it pops up where you can watch different companies go pitch ideas to Walmart in Bentonville, Arkansas, and you see this whole matrix of how they determine what price, how it's going to do in the store, and it's really kind of neat. And I don't know the name of it. I've just watched it like in 3 different parts when it's popped up, but it's really good and interesting. And a lot of the manufacturers bemoan the fact that they have to lower their asking price in order to even get it in Walmart. But once they get it in, they do gangbusters. They have to make product sacrifices, though.
They made one with this release. All of these releases are 3-disc sets. You get a Blu-ray, you get the Blu-ray bonus disc, and then you get the movie on DVD as well. So you got the 3 discs. And like I mentioned, the Best Buy had a separate spot for each disc. The Walmart ones have the DVD on the left. You open it up, there's discs on the left and the right. On the right, stacked on top of each other, are both Blu-ray discs.
Don't like that. That asks for scratches.
I really hate it when companies do this. I was pulling out Man of Steel the other day to watch before Batman v Superman, and they did that. 2 discs on each side. I'm like, no, this is a way to scratch the discs. Now I have to go buy another package.
Maybe that's their strategy, Arnie.
If this was the only copy of The Force Awakens I bought, I'd be buying another one. Because this is one of 4, I'm like, all right, those discs are going to be scratched, but at least I have a nice BB-8 slipcase and a Boba Fett Connections disc. But honestly, I know everybody wants that BB-8 slipcase, and it's a cool slipcase, don't get me wrong, but as far as Blu-ray movie goes, if you actually still put physical media in a disc, and I rarely do, I love my iTunes movies, but I know the Blu-ray has the higher bit rate, it is technically better even though it's all 1080p. For the physical discs, to me, Walmart is the worst. But to a lot of people, Target is the worst. I was intrigued by Target. First of all, they had the exclusive I wanted most. It's not a slipcover or a steelbook. I love my steelbooks. I love content. I love information. I want to absorb every bit of the Star Wars universe I can. When the first DVDs came out, I just sat there and watched the movies with the commentaries on. I watched every bonus feature. And so Target came with 2 exclusive bonus features. That's what I wanted. It also had a really nice cover, though. It's the 6 characters all behind something. I don't know why that was the marketing, is them obscured, but Rey had a staff, and Han had his blaster, and Kylo Ren and Finn were behind sabers. Everybody's peering through something, except for BB-8, who's peering through the only at Target sticker. And I thought when they were advertising this, that looked gorgeous. And then I started hearing reports. It's not a standard Blu-ray case. It's merely a cardboard fold-out sleeve, like really cheap feeling. And
I know what you mean. I hate those. Yeah.
And I got it after hearing people just complain about it. One member of our forum said it was so awful and his was falling apart that he took it back, and the Target manager was like, you can only exchange it for another one. But after demonstrating the lack of quality in the packaging, the Target manager gave him a refund on the movie.
Wow.
So I expected to hate this thing. Now, I'll say it probably falls in the middle for me as far as disc protection. Better than Walmart, given that each disc is in its own cardboard sleeve, but not as good as Best Buy, where everything has its own place. But the packaging is absolutely gorgeous photography. Now, it's nothing hugely original, but you open it up, and you've got, on the left, you've got your heroes with Finn, Rey, Han, and Poe. And on the right, you've got your bad guys with Hux and Phasma and Kylo Ren in these really vibrant pictures. Then you open it up again. So you got 4 panels across, and you've again got the hiding behind something, Leia, Han, Rey, and Finn. And behind 3 of those is where they keep the individual discs. Now, mine's not falling apart. I think it's very pretty. I think that being cardboard, it's not the greatest delivery mechanism. Being sleeves, it's not the greatest storage mechanism. But you get the bonus content, you get the pretty pictures. I like this Target release.
And yours wasn't damaged from the shrink wrap?
Not at all.
A lot of people complained about that.
I could see the corners getting compressed. It was tight shrink wrap. I did take a box cutter and very gently went along the seam so that it popped open easily. If I'd started tugging at it and tearing at it, it probably would have been worse. But no, mine's not damaged, and I liked it quite a bit. The final was the regular release, and this happens to me a lot. I forgot to buy the regular release. I was so focused on the exclusives.
We've come across that you forget to buy the standard issue, and you make sure you have the exclusives, and then you're like, oh, wait,
Also, when it comes to things like the Walmart slipcases, I was fairly convinced that what's inside that slipcase is the regular release, and indeed, it does look very similar. But I went ahead and, for the sake of this review, ordered the regular release off Amazon, and I'm glad I did, because, first of all, this first release, and I don't know if this will change going forward, also has a slipcover that none of the others had, and it's this awesome kind of iridescent metal around the Star Wars logo that, like, if you look at it in different lights, kind of changes color. It's a little purpley at times, really sparkles. And I know a lot of CDs and Blu-rays and DVDs put extra packaging touches like that on the first printing, and then when they get to second, third printings, they don't have it. So I'm glad I got this in case they stop making it later. Inside is a case that looks just like the Walmart one until I put them next to each other and noticed it was ever so slightly bigger. And then I opened it up, and it's so much nicer than the Walmart one because it has the space for the disc on the right. It also has one of those hinged disc.
Oh, that has the 2-sided, so it's like the little circle that's hinged. That you put a disc on each side. Okay.
Yeah.
That is very handy.
So all 3 of your discs are really well protected, and unlike the Steelbook, you don't have to pull one disc out to get to the other disc, because the Steelbook, they overlap a little, so to get to disc 3, you gotta remove disc 2. So as far as disc accessibility, packaging, and safety, the regular release is tops. As far as the rest of the packaging goes, it's the standard packaging. It's nice packaging. I mean, they didn't make an ugly box in this entire collection. So as far as I rank them, though, as terms of collectability, For me, Steelbook number 1, regular release number 2, Target number 3, and that BB-8 slipcover number 4 because it's just a slipcover and the discs are packed horribly in it. As far as what's in all these boxes, the discs themselves, I mean, the movie looks gorgeous. It's very pretty. I'm a little let down, though, by the bonus content. I mean, after the prequels, where you got all of those webisode documentaries and the commentaries, even when they released the original trilogy, I was a little bit disappointed that the commentaries were just Ben Burt and then taking snippets of interviews from Lucas and Carrie Fisher and things. But this one, no commentary at all. There's a 1-hour making of documentary that I enjoyed watching, but I was left wanting more from it. It hit so many areas. I can't think of a topic other than more of the screenwriting, behind the scenes, more of the story elements that I would have liked to have seen from it, but it doesn't go in depth with anything. I can't believe they even bothered bringing up the fact that they had a different screenwriter on it and they had to let him go. Their excuse was he was taking too long. What I've really heard is he was writing a script based upon Lucas's ideas of a Han, Leia, Luke adventure that would introduce new characters, and JJ came in and he wanted a young adventure that included some older characters. And so to do JJ's vision instead of Lucas's, they changed screenwriters. That's what I've heard. Take that for what it's worth. It's not what they said in the documentary.
What, was he late one day? And they're just like, you know what, Bob, we can't deal with this anymore.
Kathleen Kennedy was there, and she said that this screenwriter takes years to write a screenplay, researching and really immersing himself into it, and they wanted a movie out in 2015. They hoped he'd move faster. He didn't, and so they replaced him.
Sounds like they knew that going in, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you hire somebody and you know what they do and you know their history...
That's like hiring you for something and then being shocked that you like Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If you've ever seen me draw something, you know I'm terrible at it. If you then hire me as an artist, you don't just go, well, we know he draws badly, but we hired him hoping he'd draw well this time, and then he didn't.
Yeah, exactly. One person has any art that I've drawn, and that's Scott West. He's got a hammerhead I drew with a bird on it, and it's terrible.
There were some deleted scenes there, and I was anxious for those, because there were scenes released ahead of time, photos of snowtroopers and Kylo Ren walking through the snow and all this. Each of those scenes kind of made me scratch my head and go, why did they film this?
That's the problem with deleted scenes, because you do watch a lot of deleted scenes for Now Playing just to get a feel, you know, and sometimes I would say maybe 1 time out of 10, you're like, oh man, that would have been great. That seemed to explain this to this and it needed that jump. And other times you're like, okay, the other 9 times you're sitting there like, they wasted everybody's time and I can't believe how much money they've wasted on this.
There's an action scene I was surprised they cut that I actually enjoyed. It was on Starkiller Base. Rey and Finn were in some kind of speeder vehicle being chased by snowtroopers and they were shooting back and forth. It was exciting. I don't know why you'd cut an action scene. I mean, that's what people are there for. Maybe it was running time. It was obviously unfinished. They cut it early on before all the effects were done, but it was cool. And they cut Kylo Ren and the snowtroopers finding the Millennium Falcon and walking through it. And I liked that scene. The rest of it, like, there was a really weird one of a lady walking up to Rey while Finn was in the med unit and being like, your friend will be fine. Unless that person who spoke to Rey is going to become a really major character later, I'm like, why was that there? It's so weird a scene. But there wasn't anything there. What I'd hoped for is the mystery of Constable Zuvio.
Yeah?
If you heard the Now Playing review, or at least the extended one that's no longer available, I know I went into the fact that I thought Constable Zuvio was involved with Unkar Plutt on Jakku and all of that. Entertainment Weekly came out this week and said that they uncovered the mystery of Zuvio. And I linked to this from Facebook. It's a fun article to read because an Entertainment Weekly reporter took my level of love for this with this and talked about how Constable Zuvio figures were warming the pegs, and there's a EU story out about Zuvio, and they went to everyone and finally got to J.J. Abrams and asked about Zuvio, and J.J. was like, who? There were no scenes, and in fact, Pablo Hidalgo freeze-framed the Blu-ray There are 4 frames that have Constable Zuvio in the background.
So at some point, there must have been something bigger.
No, they said that they were just looking for characters that were safe for Hasbro to release before the movie. And this was done a couple years before. They didn't know how prominent Constable Zuvio would be. And they said this ends up kind of like Prune Face back in the old movies where you barely see him, but he's there in the background. Here, you really don't see him, but he's got a book, so basically he's an EU figure.
But isn't the EU called something different now?
Yes, the story group canon. It's still books, comics, and non-movie stuff.
Yes. Maybe this was their attempt to circumvent the whole brouhaha over, we need this Cantina alien, even though they were only in there for 2.5 seconds.
I really want a Black Series 6-inch Unkar plot. That's what I want. You could have canceled Zuvio and given me Unkar. Then if I ever meet Simon Pegg, I have something for him to sign.
Or any of his movies.
I do have a Shaun of the Dead steelbook.
I'm sure you do.
So having watched all the bonus features here, I'm just a little bit let down with the extras. I understand this is the way the things are going, is home media physical sales aren't where they used to be. They're declining month after month to new lows. Ever since the DVD craze when people were buying every movie, including me. I had over 1,000 DVDs when I parted with that collection, and people just aren't buying movies anymore, so they have less incentive to make nice packages. That said, they didn't even put out a 3D disc of this, and there's rumors that later in the year, they're going to release the 3D set. I don't know if those rumors are true, because everything I'm reading at Blu-ray.com is that 3D home media is dead. That it just never took off, and the new 4K sets aren't even coming with a 3D option.
I will say that we did watch it a few times at home, but largely we just didn't. I don't know, maybe because it's more of an experience, and that's the last, true experience you have at the theater still. I mean, because you can go see a movie, who cares, whoop-de-doo, anytime. But a 3D movie has special times, they don't have so many screens showing it because they're limited. Now, our 3D theater is awful, they're miscalibrated, and we usually have to travel out of town to go see a good 3D movie, but it's the last experience we have left at the movie theater, besides movie marathons.
I watch it more often than you do because you have an eye condition. You don't even see it. It gives you headaches.
That's true. All I get is headaches. I don't get the 3D effect most of the time.
Plus, we've had endless technical problems with our home theater 3D. I've only ever been able to get one pair of glasses to work at a time. So I watch 3D movies alone at home, and I'd be very disappointed if I couldn't watch this in 3D. But my real hope is if they come out with an ultimate 3D package, A, that they don't make me buy 4 copies again. They will. But and B, that they do include some of those features they didn't hear, like a writer-director commentary, a cast and crew commentary, the stuff that I really devour. I mean, it's a sad state of affairs when I'm reviewing League of Extraordinary Gentlemen for Now Playing, and Fox has put 10 hours of bonus features on for that thing. And then I want The Force Awakens, and I have about 2 hours of bonus features. The Target digital exclusive bonus features, one of them was about weapons making, and I thought that one was okay. And the other one was an interview, though, with Daisy Ridley and John Boyega. That's honestly my favorite bonus feature, and you can only get it at Target. It has them rapping with John Boyega beatboxing while Daisy Ridley's rapping, and it intercuts a whole bunch of people dancing. I mean, it's really fun. I mean, it made me like these two actors as people, to see this conversation with them and what it was like for them to come in and go through the audition process. It was only 11 minutes, but it was one of the highlights, and it was stuff that should have been included in that hour-long documentary. It was really a good in-depth conversation with them, as in-depth as 11 minutes could get. There's also an iTunes exclusive bonus feature, but all the copies I bought came with a Disney Movies Anywhere digital code, which I could then redeem on iTunes. So I got the iTunes bonus feature as part of this purchase, and it's about making the costumes, and it was mildly interesting. And I'll again say to everyone, I'm a fan of, if you get these digital exclusive bonus features, archive them. Don't pirate them. Don't post them. Archive them for yourself. And I'm going to share a trick. If you have a Windows machine, I'm mostly Mac in my house, but I do have a Microsoft Surface I love. Windows key R in Windows 10 brings up a screen recorder, and you can record whatever's happening on your screen. So I have successfully archived, and I will never post them anywhere. I am not advocating piracy. I'm advocating personal archive backup of these bonus features. Works great. Much harder to do on a Mac. You can do the Target exclusive bonus features with QuickTime, but Mac is smart. To stop piracy, they don't let QuickTime record iTunes.
Okay, that makes sense. I think you've been immersed in this for the last week, Arnie.
It's been awesome. Living Star Wars. I mean, I've been photographing statues and photographing figures that we're going to talk about, and listening to commentaries and soundtracks while I do it, and bonus features. Not commentaries. Take out commentaries. There was no commentary, but documentaries. It's been, like I said, it's a great time to be a Star Wars fan.
Thanks for watching this video. You can see full episodes of Star Wars Action News with more collecting news and reviews at swactionnews.com. We also have thousands of toy and collectible photos in our photo gallery. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. May the pegs be stocked and the Force be with you.